Hello, everyone. Welcome to Consumed. After a non zero amount of technical difficulties,
Hmm.
we are ready to begin.
Wouldn't be
And
a live stream without technical difficulties. Also, the
what?
O's are definitely getting into your Streamlabs, is what I've learned.
Yes.
That is accurate, but also a problem. Accurate, but also a problem.
It wouldn't be the first time it happened.
Accurate and still a problem.
Yes. We played
Like,
this on actual play like a year ago or something like that, and I said the word just a little glitchy, and DC's camera just got destroyed as soon
yeah,
as I said glitchy.
that sounds accurate too.
Hmm. It is accurate. There's evidence.
All right, so we wanted to do a short calibration before everything else. So,
Mm. Bzzt.
what calibration are we calibrating first?
I think we're doing Goldens first.
Yes.
Oh no, you guys! Why
Oh
do I let you
no.
do this? I mean, I can't stop you. I mean, I
You gave
could
us the
stop you,
mod swords
but
and everything.
I trusted you. Uh, yeah, yeah,
Mhm. It's on the overlays and everything.
Good deal.
We're going over your head.
It is. It's on the overlays and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's do it. How does work?
Mhm. Golden asks us what happened last time, and each of us tries as best we can to recap what happened in the previous episodes to uh, bring back the haunted past so that it becomes real and isn't just forgotten to history. And then once we've recapped that, Golden will be like, okay, you've answered these questions, pointing to like specific circles, and then we get one dot to put in any of those circles. Golden, you are
Okay.
muted, perhaps double muted.
Maybe
Perhaps
triple
triple
muted.
muted.
Only double muted? Come on, man. That's nowhere near safe enough. The O's might hear me. Um, well, I asked specific person what happened, right?
Yep.
All right, Kel. So what happened last time?
What happened last time? Uh, we built a bunch of new neighborhoods. Um, and what else did we do? We went to one of them, and what did we do there? That's a good question. That's what I remember. I remember building a bunch of neighborhoods and adding Black Bluff and Galaxy Peak and Gardenia Heights and all of those.
Okay.
Like, except
I
Gardenia
think
Heights
you've
wasn't actually
answered.
added. It was. I mean, it's down there, but
Yeah.
also it's not in the list of neighborhoods on the list of
Yeah.
neighborhoods.
That's because it didn't win the round, and all the other neighborhoods won those rounds, I think.
Right, right. I guess that's why I was saying it doesn't really exist. It only.
Yeah.
I think it exists. It's in the stable.
Okay, it exists in the stable. That makes sense. Okay.
You can only put a dot in the box, right?
No, you can put a dot anywhere during calibration.
Oh, okay. So I can look at all these questions.
Yes.
What is these questions I can't read because of the contrast? Ah.
Thinking of which, I know at least.
Does it even make sense to ask questions about characters that don't exist anymore?
I like leaving them on there, though. I think it's interesting.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I think you've answered what do they want you to put in the cage?
Okay. Hold on a second here. Why are you not? No. Sorry, I'm fighting with this here. So I can make a circle, and what layer is that on?
You make a dot on
Okay,
the
dot.
GM layer.
The GM layer. Okay, I'm on the GM layer. Now, where is that question?
It is here.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Okay, here we go.
Considering that custom FX can destroy causality, playing with that is really playing with fire.
Fire don't reel.
Yeah, fire don't reel.
Alright, you seem to remember something. What happened last time?
Me? Oh, don't worry, I remember everything.
Okay.
It's going to be hard to follow up.
Yeah, so we did make a bunch of neighborhoods. We made a bunch of new characters. Troy and Kaylee showed up. Troy is this dude bro who is like a professional reality show star and goes on a bunch of reality shows and wins them for money. Kaylee is a burn victim, but fire don't reel. So what's up with that? So we were hanging out in Galaxy Peak. I remember Ferdinand had some issues with his contract and was yelling at the producers about not getting the publicity that he wanted, and they were in disagreement there. And Kaylee and Troy were in a confessional booth, and they were talking about how like they didn't really understand why we're there, and then they made out a bit. You know, it was whatever.
Right. I remember that now.
And also Brian was trying to steal Ferdinand's designs for like church robes, and then Ferdinand got really mad and turned into a bull and charged him or something and ran around. I don't So that was the thing. And then everyone went onto a train car and had really greasy food, and June was not cool with that and drank Bloody Marys.
As she do.
The end.
What did you answer your question?
Oh, and Troy brought back June's dog.
Right.
Indeed.
That happened.
That really like her dead dog really messed her up, and now that didn't happen anymore.
So maybe
I wonder how June's gonna be different.
Maybe she'll be a nicer person.
Or maybe she won't be.
It really could go either way.
Yep.
With June, knows? I don't know.
Exactly. June is.
I think
June.
You answered who has tasked Brian with control of the mosque's incinerator.
Okie doke.
All right, Kelsa, you're gonna answer a question.
Me?
What happened?
Nope.
Oh, you're right. Lavender.
Yeah.
I got confused by the hair.
Hooray!
Yes. Long ago, in an episode before last episode, there was a tent on the beach that was actually a rock lobster. No, there was actually a dark chamber for where confessionals were had. But now that these characters, Ruth and Trinity, no longer exist, what we see in this recap is just June by herself scoffing at nothing. And there are lights that dazzle and dance around the room. And then General Carter and Arwen come up into the tent, speak to no one about some sort of conspiracy. Then they leave. and then June leaves.
Also, can there be like weird glitches in the footage as well?
Yeah, and
Oh,
everything
yeah.
dark red, the color of Ruth's brand, but Ruth doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I think you've answered who's Trinity with when she views a pale purple sky.
Very good.
See if I remember anything that no one's talked about yet. Hmm. Well, I remember in the confessional when who was in the confessional? I think it was Kaylee and Troy. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they turned off the camera with the power of the social contract. That was good. And then I also remember later that June took Kaylee away from everyone else in the car to stop her from sticking up the whole train like a fire. But
Oh yeah, that's
I
right.
think June had ulterior motives there.
That sounds like June.
I'm not sure what they were.
I found another mention of Trinity and Bryce that did not get glitched.
Where are they at? I'll glitch them up.
Up above Black Bluff.
Ah, perfect. I'll fix that.
What else happened? So I can remember. So I'm gonna say I answered. What does June think about loss?
Interesting.
Okay, and then I think we go to my phase. Yeah,
Don't
Mhm.
we name the episode?
correct. Golden has to pick a question off the board and pick a word out of it to name the episode that we're about to do. And if it's a verb, then that will be helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, I see two really good ones that I would want to pick.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to. I don't want to influence you, but man.
There's a few of them that are pretty good. I'm gonna take reminded.
Oh no.
The
Which
two...
turns that into who is the past.
The two I was looking at was Control, because I thought that would be
Yes.
interesting, and also
That is a
Ruined.
good one.
Oh man, I was looking at two, and they were not either one of those, any of those either.
What were you looking at?
I was looking at Put
Yes,
and
put.
View.
Also,
Having
Shines
trouble-
could have been an interesting one.
Getting to the right layer to click on anything. Here. I finally got to making my dot.
Yeah, I don't think there's a ton of consistency with what layers the text is on. Some of them seem to be on the token layer, and some seem to be on the GM layer.
And then
I think there is supposed to be a pattern to it, but I also think that it has not been held.
Probably not, no.
So I took away the word reminded. And do I put that anywhere?
I put it somewhere.
Yep.
I put it in the title of the Twitch episode.
Perfect.
All right. Awesome.
For what it's worth, the names of the neighborhoods that are big and on the board are on the map layer
Okay.
because they're places.
Yeah, and we don't want to move them around, probably. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why it amuses me so much that Galaxy Peak is near the bottom of the page.
Why does that amuse you so much?
It's just a certain level of irony that is. Anyway.
It's because everywhere else is in space.
Galaxy Peak is the only place that isn't actually in space. Perfect.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm here for it. That is exactly what we need.
Okay, so I think we're ready for my phase. My phase is different than the last time we did it a long time ago.
Good. Tell us how it works, because I don't know. I never know anything, but especially not in this game.
Yes. I'll do it first as an example. I am going to first I'm going to ask you whether you want to describe a relationship between two neighborhoods, 2 stars, or a neighborhood and a star. And that's all you get to tell me. After that, I get to choose which 2 neighborhoods it is, or which 2 stars it is, or which neighborhood and which. And then you have to decide what 2 aspects you're taking off the board, where they're going on to, and then what that relationship looks like. And then you draw a line between the 2 that you picked.
Okay, that's interesting.
So, these aspects from the board, do they relate to the relationship?
Yes.
Okay. That's
I
what
was wondering if there was more to that question.
I thought about adding more to that question, but I think that's all I needed to ask.
Gotcha. Yep. So then I can do it first as an example. Okay. I would like to build a relationship between I want to build a relationship between Kaylee and Black Bluff. That's me picking for myself a star in a neighborhood, and then because I'm in charge of the round, I have a lot of double control over things. So Kaylee, Black Bluff, what I'm taking and putting on Black Bluff are the military badges.
Oh.
Let me go to How do I want
You should probably draw the line before you delete them.
That's what I'm thinking. Yep.
Yes.
We ran into this problem before.
Yes.
I remember.
I think I'm going to draw a really short line between the mirrored sunglasses and the military badges, just like this. Also, that's hella big. See if I can.
Oh wow, that is a fat line.
There it is.
Here, it's better. Kaylee's getting the mirrored sunglasses, and Black Bluff is getting the military badges. And then I'll describe the relationship in a moment. Mirrored sunglasses for Kaylee are smoldering fire elemental, and Black Bluff.
Not real.
I know.
That's why it's so confusing. Okay.
Mhm. Military badges for Black Bluff. And I think what this looks like is Kaylee lived in Black Bluff when the volcanic eruption happened that covered everything in the obsidian. And then
Ooh.
Black Bluff had to rebuild by carving everything into the obsidian. And that is why Kaylee is as burned as she is. But instead of aiding the military in rebuilding, she left Black Bluff and went to Galaxy Peak.
And how does that relate to the mirrored sunglasses?
I think we see Black Bluff and Smithereens in the sunglasses.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, I like that too. Cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yep, I'm going to take those off the board. There we go. And then, Kelsa, you can go next.
Sweet. I would like to make a relationship between two characters, 2 stars.
Okay. Express the relationship between Troy and June.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Love it.
Let me pick 2 things off the board. And like, do I have like that limitation where I can't cross other lines, or?
Yes. You can't cross any other lines.
Okay.
So kind of have to be pretty close to each other.
Okay, well in that case that will make my decision, because I specifically want gonna steal so many books, you bitch. And the only thing left nearby there is a holographic skirt. So this clearly means that June is getting a holographic skirt. Come on. Copy paste. Let's do it. It does not like me today. And Troy is gonna steal so many books, you bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's really all there is to it. I think they June is trying to kind of get with the times, get with the fashion of the show. And that's what's up with the holographic skirt. And Troy is like, you know what? I remember this thing about books. You know what? I'm gonna steal so many books. Fuck you. That's why. I think that's a very clear relationship. No ambiguity there.
Yeah. Golden, do you want
You
to...
sure I can't cross any lines?
No.
The box of the gray line doesn't count.
Yes.
I want to do smokestacks, but I can't find anything.
You could do Street View cameras.
Well, first, what are you connecting together?
I want to. Can I choose, or just Adam have to tell me?
Lavender will tell you, but first you need to decide if it's 2 people, 2 neighborhoods, or a person in a neighborhood.
I want to do a person to a neighborhood.
Okay, describe the relationship between Ferdinand and Small Step.
Okay. Well, that's not what I want to put
Well...
on small. I didn't want to put that on Small Step. Okay, so I'll find something else.
Okay. Small Step only has one other memory on it, and it's Rainbow.
Yeah, I think the fresh rain and the holographic hood. What was the character again? It was
Ferdinand.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Ferdinand has got a lot of style.
Yep.
So we can put the holographic hood on Ferdinand and the fresh rain on small stuff.
I like it.
I guess that makes sense with the rainbow also.
Yeah. And
It doesn't need to make sense. Come on now. Causality doesn't real. We already knew that.
yeah, I think Ferdinand made the holographic hood after he tried to literally steal the rainbow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Staney, do you want to do a star and a stars?
2 stars.
Good. Yes.
But then I get to pick which one.
Yep, that's fine.
Describe the relationship between. I want to decide if I want to do the predictable one or the unpredictable one.
You do whatever you want.
To establish something new. Describe the relationship between Brian and Kaylee.
Brian and Kaylee. Okay. We're going to go this way. We're going to take pixelated face paint and a book that is cursed to catalog the reader's most embarrassing moments.
Oh, good.
Ugh, I can just barely get it. We're going to put the pixelated face paint on Brian because I remember in the very first episode, he had that pixelated face paint in his photo shoot.
That's right.
That's a deep cut.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to take the catalog and put it on to Kaylee. And Kaylee has met Brian before. And when they first met was after his photo shoot when he was washing off that pixelated face paint. And she possessed the book. And she knew him before she met him from the book.
Ooh. That's real good.
Okay. That's cool.
That is cool.
Which is interesting because it catalogs her most embarrassing moments, but hers with Brian hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because causality isn't real, is that mean that it already has this most embarrassing moment between her and Brian?
We're gonna find out.
Okay,
what that means.
I'm just curious. Like,
I mean, that's kind of what I'm vibing, but I mean, it could mean something else entirely. It might be an embarrassing moment that happens in another reality.
Those could be the same thing.
I don't know.
No one knows. We play to find out.
Yep.
Good. Is that all for the calibration? How do we choose our characters?
I'm trying to enable the grid so that I can do the
box.
So that I can make the new box. Okay.
How does boxes work?
How does box? I think this is. I think it's actually didn't two of us do like a start a neighborhood relationship?
Yes.
Because I think Golden and I did a start a neighborhood relationship, and then
me and Estani did start a star.
Yep.
Okay. So then that would be 4, 6.
6
it would
to
be 2 by 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
We gotta do more neighborhood relationships just so we can have more normal aspect ratios.
That sounds dumb. That sounds dumb.
Yeah, I'm upset that they even have to be rectangles. I don't want to be like L-shaped Tetris blocks and stuff.
Oh God.
That sounds like
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
You got the L-shaped. You got the squiggly. You got reverse squiggly.
Yes.
Technically, it goes farther down beyond the bounds of the
You know what? That's perfect though.
yes.
That it goes beyond the bounds of our game map.
Mhm.
I mean, we can just make the game bigger.
No, it's
No.
much better
No.
this way.
Exactly.
Because this has never happened before, but I wanted something to happen when the box is bigger than the frame, because when you don't have enough resolution going on, aliasing is a thing, and when aliasing happens, things get weird. But I don't know how that works in the current version.
Good.
So what I want to say, I'm just going to describe something weird that happens because there's like this collective illusion between everyone that's in the reality show where because there's like this thing where if you like try to look this way slightly, there's like actually like a slight blind spot in your vision, and I think through some magical means everybody's blind spot met up in one place, and out of the blind spot came the dark blurry people that were chasing Bryce, but they're getting created now because causality don't real. But this is what originally created them in the first place. Last place, second place, something. That's my scene. Or not my scene, but my aliasing.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Okay, now how do we pick characters?
I choose a neighborhood.
Okay.
And I start as the neighborhood, and then I start all of us off. I want to be in Galaxy Peak still, because Galaxy Peak was neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. I'm glad I made something cool.
I am not the resolution. That is lies. I am this. Okay. Where does the scene take place? It takes place. I'm going to put everyone in space now. We're in an atrium that is in this spire. You have to take a space elevator up to get here. It's like a staining you described when she pitched this neighborhood. You can see all of the galaxies and stars all around you through the roof of this atrium. That's where the scene takes place. And then I cast everyone. So I'm still Galaxy Peak in like my profile name. I'm hold on, somebody's talking to me, but I'll get to that in 1 second. We can all be the same characters as we were before, is what I'm saying. Okay, and then I'm gonna mute and then
we actually can't, because Steenie was Galaxy Peak last time.
No, I'm Troy currently.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that last time was the Unreeling.
But I was also Troy. I was also playing Troy.
Were you?
Yeah, I was Galaxy Peak first, and then I
look at
handed it off to
the
Troy.
20 names.
I mean, that means nothing to me.
But yeah,
I guess I didn't get a chance to update the thing. Okay, anyway, which makes me Ferdinand.
Because yeah, Lavender was playing Galaxy Peak before.
Yep. I'm Galaxy Peak, Kelsa's Ferdinand, Golden is Kaylee, and Astani is Troy.
Okay. Should pull up my character sheet. Alright.
And then I'm gonna see what that person at the door wanted.
Okay, so I'm fixing this. Come on, no, get over here.
I'm not sure. Am I supposed to do something?
I don't know. What I'm doing is very important, which is updating the overlays.
Yes.
And
go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm reading because what's going to be coming up next is that Lavender is going to be asking us to click the button of what shot we want to do, basically. So you should be maybe reading each of your shot options.
Okay.
So confessional, action shot, drama shot, or double exposure. Because then at the count of 3, we're going to end up clicking those. And that's going to decide what we do in this scene.
I want to choose from at random.
Well, then you can roll a d4.
I just close my eyes and click a lot.
That's what I did. I mean, not with the closing the eyes part, but I did click it at random. Somebody brought home food that I'll be eating during the unreeling.
Nice.
Yay.
Nice.
You could be really in character during that then. Well, I'll get food.
Good.
So I can't find my credit cards, so I have no food anywhere.
Oh no.
That's no good.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm actually not sure if I can use mine this month because it expires in December of 2019, which is now. So I may not be able to use it until I get a new one.
I've went through all my clothes. I've dumped out everything behind my desk.
You might have to.
I went to work. I cleaned out all my desk at work. I cleaned out my car completely. I don't know where they are.
Wow, that's not good.
Unusual.
Yeah, that is not good.
But no one's used them yet, and I know because I get text messages when they're used.
Well, that's good at least.
Yeah, so I'm very confused.
Good. Not good to you,
but I do have frozen ice things. Icy Pass.
Awesome.
That's all I have left.
So good.
I have to order food on PayPal.
If it works, right? Okay. Now that I've updated this.
Okay.
Let me move us over to the reality show page and open up Ferdinand's character sheet.
You are on it.
I did it.
Yeah. When's everybody ready so that I can count to 3?
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. Where again? Refresh my memory because that was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. We're at the very tip of Galaxy Peak with the stars and the galaxies above the roof and stuff like that.
Cool.
I'm torn between 2, but I have one I'm ready to pick.
Okay, I will force you to pick by giving you a time constraint. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we have matches.
No, we don't.
Nope. Everyone's in a different scene.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So what we do now is all of you have the ability to cut to the next shot. I do not. And the stuff you use to cut to the next shot is at the top of your star page.
So before we jump in, especially since I'm first here with an action shot,
yes.
One thing that I feel like is missing is what we're our challenge for the reality show.
Mm-hmm.
So is that something that I can just establish here with my action shot, or would that normally be something that we should agree to beforehand or have the neighborhood decide as part of the setup?
I feel like since the neighborhood has control of the judges and clients, I almost maybe should, even though I haven't been thinking about it. Um, like I can give you a place and a challenge in the beginning. I'll write that on the thing in the future. Um, your challenge is to see, we're obfuscating and rejuvenating. Your goal is to take a space shuttle to rejuvenate a dead planet.
Whoa. Yeah, that's just a typical thing that we do on reality TV shows, right? We just fly over to dead planets and just put them back
Now,
together. Great.
obviously, not the whole thing, but
But our title word for today is remind, right?
Mhm.
Awesome. Okay, I think I'm up to the challenge. Um, so what we see is Ferdinand, uh, like stepping out of this spaceship onto this dead planet, and he's got like the his spacesuit is entirely made out of billboards. He's made this himself, um, and it's like, you know, buy Pepsi now and all of that other like stuff that just goes around. Um, and he like kneels down onto the ground and starts to um, use his own word of cut, as well as rejuvenate, as well as remind. Basically, he's taking pieces um, of the billboards, not the spacesuit he's wearing, but that he brought with him, right? And like using them to remind this planet about what it used to be like on a deeply spiritual level. Um, what are you afraid the lurkers might do if you take a shortcut that offends their arbitrary sensibilities? Um, I don't think that Ferdinand is worried about this being a shortcut, but I think that Kelsa is. Um, if that makes sense, where I feel like it's something that it could be seen as that, but I don't think Ferdinand sees it that way. So this action shot is has to be cut a lot because it's kind of slow and boring work, and so we just get like a scene of that one epic one as he walks out onto the planet, and then as he starts to set up these screens um, to remind the planet of what it was like in a big like a circle around, and then we get like a time lapse of these beaming down at the ground in like a small patch of grass growing up, if that makes any sense.
That's awesome. Do you want to cut to the next scene? Because it sounds like you're.
Yeah, I want to
Okay.
cut to the next scene. How do I
Um,
facilitate that?
if you want to cut to the next scene yourself, you pick one of your cuts at the top of your page. You take it down, and then you do what it says.
And how many do I start with?
One in each.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. Frame this one here. When there's dead air for too long, answer, how does time buffer, distort, or jump to the next shot? So, like, we're watching, like, this time lapse of the grass growing up, right? And then, like, the grass grows, like, really too tall, too fast, but then it, like, shrivels back down again and then grows again. And, like, that turns into, like, a green static until it finally will blur out the entire screen, and then that will resolve into Sandy's double exposure.
Cool. Go right ahead.
Okay, if I can unmute. I had to
Yeah.
unmute. All right.
Triple mute.
So, I become a double exposure, merging my silhouetted body with the objects around me, and then I choose some of the questions below and answer them. Also, questions from chat. If you're out there, you can ask me some chat questions, and I will answer them during my double exposure. Okay. So, I almost feel like everyone has been sent to a different dead planet, because it wouldn't be fair to have them all rejuvenate the same planet, because then you wouldn't necessarily know who rejuvenated which part of which planet. And we see Troy in orbit around this dead planet, and he's looking down at it through, like, it's not really glass, but it's like a view, it's like a view plate or something, and we can see his reflection in the glass, and we can see in the distance the blue, the bright blue light of Earth, basically. And like the footage kind of glitches, and we can almost see like two images happening at once, and we see the dead planet being superimposed over the blue light of Earth, and then suddenly they're in like each other's places and then back again. And we see like Troy's hand lifting up as if he's holding them both at the same time. And the planets, like, they almost become the same planet, but they're not. It's like they share the same space, but they don't. They're like reminded of each other, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that if he's even trying to do the challenge, because it's not even an action shot. It's just a weird thing that's happening that we're watching happen.
Okay. I have. So as these planets merge together before your eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and everything's all trippy and stuff, um, these planets are your clients and judges, and they literally speak to you.
Oh, okay.
They say, "Abandon your spaceship. Think hard enough. Reach up to us, and we will take you into the Vesica."
I fall through the glass. I just fall through the glass as if it's not there, and I careen out into space towards the planets.
That's so good.
I think that's it. I'm done.
Yep.
So tick down one of your thingies and
Yep.
do the thingy.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. Let's see.
Yep. And I'm trying to make lines and then change them to your color.
Okay.
They're on the
When-
wrong layer.
When something burned appears on screen, answer, how do we freeze frame to the next shot? So ticking it down. Well, we see Troy as he's floating towards these lights, and the lights become brighter and brighter and silhouette him, and then basically consume him. We don't know what happens to him after this, but it's like he's falling into a bath of light, and we almost get that, like, when you leave a screen on too long and it's a real high contrast image and that just gets burned into the screen. We just have this image, this freeze frame image burned into every screen of Troy, not even wearing a spacesuit, just bathed in light. Like just the silhouette of him.
Oh dear God.
And then that fades into the next shot. But that image, that like after image, is still there in the shot.
As Kaylee confesses.
Yes.
All right, I gotta try and look at the camera. So Kaylee is on a planet called Cinder, and Cinder, it was a planet that was orbiting a red dwarf, and as the star expanded into a red dwarf, it encompassed the planet and burnt it into a cinder. But then fire was removed. So this whole planet is like a rock, and kind of in the same quasi state as Kaylee. And she's walking around, like she finds a tree and she grabs the tree, and her body starts to smolder and glow. And we see the rocks float into the air, and brilliant aurora shoot out of the ground.
What do my
As she's doing this,
frequencies compel you to do?
I think I want to say she's dancing as she does this. And it's like kind of like a belly dance, like kind of like an erotic dance. And she's talking about um, her time with June on the train. She says, I don't know, I felt something on that train. I was talking with June. But the more I felt it, the more I knew that she was the wrong person to express it to. I don't know who else I can share these feelings with. Maybe Trinity, maybe one of the judges. I just feel so alive in a way I've never felt before. And as she's saying this, she's dancing, and she comes to a garden, and the stone is lifting up as she walks and dances through it. And it seems like she's drawing the fire into herself. Or what remains, the strange not fire.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, what is fire?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's resolving the paradox somehow by getting hot enough to melt the rock that everything turned into. And as she does, she remembers that this is the place where she went on honeymoon with her husband, who did die in the fire, who didn't get trapped in a half state. He died before fire was burned away. So I'm going to click this remember button. How does the logo of the show flash on screen? To sync to the next shot.
And we wouldn't have a next shot, so I would cut to the next scene.
I think then, like, we see the garden bloom, and it's like some gardener shaped all the flowers to spell out the name of the show, Obfuscate, Rejuvenate. And the flowers cover up. They like grow so much that you can't see Kaylee dancing in the garden anymore.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna cut to the next scene. Let me get back to neighborhood. I didn't see Astani or Golden look away from the camera, so I put new stuff in your color on the board.
Cool.
Woo. I'm playing the game.
Yep,
Did
Astani
it.
got some lines. And Golden got a circle.
And is that a new question?
All right.
Yes, it is a new question. What burns in Kaylee's heart?
Nice.
Scene, transition. What do? I honestly need to look. Who changed the location or time? I want to say that Golden did. So Golden would play one of the neighborhoods next. You get to pick.
Okay.
I stopped playing Galaxy Peak, and then I go to the map layer and I trace an enclosed shape. Basically, I like block it in like we would in the unreeling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, map layer, polygon tool, so that I can trace stuff.
Did Garden Naya Heights get burned?
No.
It does not have a character sheet.
Right, because it's in the stable. It's not actually a character. It's not listed in the stable, but it should be.
Also, do you have to stay in the box?
Yeah, I was going to ask that next.
I do. I definitely do.
So then you can only pick Galaxy Peak or Giant Sleep, I think.
Yeah. The Giant Sleep's where we started, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, in the very beginning. Today we were in
Yes.
Galaxy Peak.
Yes.
Oh, if we're going to be changing characters, then I need to go to here.
I'll be Galaxy Peak.
Okay.
How do I do this?
Ah, dang, I was going to suggest that for our unreeling. Oh, well.
Oops.
I was like, oh, that looks like a good one. There's lots of different colors in there. I just got to move something of Lavender's color in there. Oh, well.
Look, that's why I was so vengeful about it, apparently. The subconscious mind is a very powerful thing.
What character are you choosing?
So Golden gets to cast which characters we're playing next.
Oh, okay.
You would start with that button that's like up and on the left of the neighborhood sheet. And then all of us stars would take a look at this thing I just closed up, and then if you're counting dots or frame edges or like sides or something, then you would write on your sheet what got eaten by that.
Rate it where?
Right here. I'm trying to ping it.
So we would do this on our current character sheets, but then Golden could cast us as different characters when he starts.
No, that is not correct.
So
Okay.
then we should not write it now.
Right. After we're cast as the new characters, we would put all that stuff on the characters that we're about to play.
Okay.
Yep.
So I would put one color because I have a dot in there.
Right.
And Kelsa has two sides.
Actually, no, it would be two, wouldn't it? Because
Why?
if you're counting different colors, then there's the one dot in one color and the other dot in another color.
Oh,
But
so
then
we're gonna have two dots and one side, or
Well,
what?
each one of us counts different things based on our
Yes.
thing. So, for example, I count frame edges and different colors. So there's actually 3 different colors because
Oh, okay.
there's
I was thinking
my
it was like
lines,
different instances of my own color is how I was
this
reading
dot
it.
and that dot.
Okay.
Oh. That would be
So,
true,
yeah.
wouldn't it?
I would have 3 different colors, and then I'm also counting sides, which it's a 1, 2, 3, 4-sided object, so it'd be 4 sides.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Or infinite if you consider an arc, but I'll consider that one.
Yes.
Okay, so, and we don't count the non-player colors, only different player colors, so it can only be a maximum of 4.
Right.
Okay.
I thought I'd just tell you what characters I want you to play, and then you can keep talking if you want.
Yes.
But I want Stanny, you can play Ferdinand.
Okie doke.
And Kelsa, you can play June.
Thank you.
And then Adam, I want you to play Kaylee.
Great. I'll write that down in my display name.
Oh, I guess I should change mine first. So
Kaylee, she. Open Kaylee's sheet.
and now I open June's sheet, and you got to make sure that you choose your
Lens, basically.
right,
Or part of the
exactly.
camera or whatever.
So
Yep.
okay.
So I count dots and frame edges. So I get 2
Mm-hmm.
and 1. Okay, great.
Okay. Cool. And I get 1 frame edge, and so they start at 1.
Mm-hmm. And then
do
you
we-
add.
Oh wow, dang! So I have
So-
like 4 and 5. What the heck?
Okay, so I should have 2 and 4. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
I have so many transitions.
Mhm.
That's good though, right? That's
Better
good.
use them.
How to use transitions?
Oh my goodness, and so much style, man. Fernand has everything right now.
Want to see anything different about?
Adorable. So what was I gonna say? It all disappeared from my head.
Thanks.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, Golden, I pinged all the instructions for you on the very bottom of the Roll20 chat.
Oh, okay. You click the 4 buttons.
Yep. And then not the 4
so I'm
buttons,
supposed
just the one
to.
at the top.
Wouldn't I click on scene transition?
That button is messed up. It says you were last to calibrate, but what it should say is you're just starting to play a neighborhood or something like that.
Yeah, I see that one.
Because then when you would be calibrating, you would go to playing the neighborhood, and when you get swapped out, then you would start playing the neighborhood.
It seems like a scene transition is when
okay.
you're giving up being a neighborhood.
Yes. That's correct.
So I would start with intro.
Yep. And you started doing some of this already. Like that first paragraph where you casted everyone, but you also
I
need to
casted
decide where
everybody.
it takes place.
Okay, yeah. So trying to say how to frame this. So imagine there's this really large nightclub, and it has a stage, where they have like performances. And behind the stage, there is a laboratory for like AV techs to do all the special effects. And in the AV lab, we see technicians looking over the cameras from the previous confessional scenes and trying to figure out what's wrong with them, but they can actually be turned off. Like, they don't have off switches. How did they manage to turn these off? You can't figure it out. And we see formerly Bryce's dog on the stage, and he's got like an AV cord in his mouth, and he's pulling it out from backstage onto the stage. and that's where we're going to start, I think.
What's a challenge?
So it says, ask the lurkers. And then what was the part about the challenge?
We were saying before that these aren't on the sheets yet. They need to be there.
Oh, okay.
Because Kelso was like, we need a challenge because otherwise some of this doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's
So
like the whole point
O's are
of
giving you a challenge.
the whole point of the reality TV show
Okay.
is that there's a challenge and then we have to beat it. Like, even.
But the interesting thing is that like not every scene should be a challenge, though.
Right,
Yes.
it doesn't need to be, but there should be like at least one challenge for the theme of the show.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess since
Okay.
we have done our challenge, we could do non-challengey stuff too. But I feel like there needs to be at least one challenge per episode.
Per episode, yes, I agree.
Hmm.
So maybe that could be its own button, like challenge instead of like intro.
Ooh.
Challenge.
Okay,
Yeah, I like that
yeah,
too.
no, that's a good idea.
That could
Yeah.
be cool.
Yep. That sounds great.
Like you just press it if you
If you're
feel like it needs to be pressed.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so with that, is it time for us to press our buttons?
All right, you ready for your buttons?
Never, but yes.
Is it same? Actually, I do know
All right.
what I want to do.
You can press them in 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
All right.
Yay, you're doing drama together. Perfect.
Dramas.
That's
Mhm.
good. Oh, all right.
I'm very afraid.
I almost picked drama too, by the way.
Yeah.
We were
Oh, you
almost all up in
shut
each
I
other's
actually
drama.
tried to metagame this where I was like, they're going to pick the drama shot next because we haven't done any drama shots yet. So if I want to be in the shots with other people, I have to
Uh-huh.
pick the one that we're not picking.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Drama shot. Okay. So we're both in it.
Yep.
You can tell there's trouble about to start. So choose one, some, or all of the questions. What old problems do you stir up? As you turn to the lurkers to get dirt on them, what do you actually ask? What trite quips and slights do you exchange, and what kind of look is on your face? Oh, I like starting with that last one first. So,
Okay.
like we're in this soundstage, right? And there's the dog with the cord, and I think for June, she's actually for the first time, maybe ever on this show, has a genuine smile that is not at someone else's expense. Okay, maybe a little bit at someone else's expense, but it's really for the dog, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She's just actually really happy to see the dog because it's a dog, you know?
Yeah.
How does that provoke Kaylee? What does she look like as we come into this scene?
I think Kaylee looks at the dog and then something strikes her as being off about the dog existing. And then
Accurate.
Kaylee turns to the imaginary camera and asks, okay, God, whatever you are, something's giving me a weird vibe about this dog. Is this from you? Is this from your enemies? Is this dog cursed? Is this meant to be here? What's happening? And then I turn away from the invisible camera that's like in my paranoid sensations.
Mm-hmm.
And I turn to June and I say, can I pet your dog?
Oh, this isn't my dog. She says, I just really like dogs.
Oh,
I'm not sure whose dog it is, actually. I've seen him around, but I haven't really seen an owner ever. And like she kneels down, like she kind of does a little squat thing. Um and uh oh, Brian's taking care of him. Is that a thing? I don't think she's seen it. We'll just go with that.
yeah.
Um and so she kind of does this like awkward squat where you're like wearing a skirt and high heels. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So and like kind of calls the dog over so that she can give it some scritches. Um and it comes like I think it's still carrying the cable like in its mouth
Right.
as it comes over, and she starts to give it stretches, and she's like, "Oh well, what do you have here?" And she kind of pulls the cable, and it's like I'm picturing it's still connected to something on the other side,
Hmm.
and so she like takes it out of the dog's mouth, and the dog is sad, but lets her do it. And
Yeah.
then she stands back up again and starts like walking towards the wherever it's plugged in, like, you know, hand over hand with the cable, rolling it up as she goes.
Hmm.
And like she totally ignores June, not June, sorry, Kaylee. She is
Hmm.
June. Kaylee, as she's doing this, to just like start rolling this up. She's found a uh not
Are you thinking
purpose.
of a spool? Like a
No. She's just found like a
oh,
job for herself to
oh,
do right now.
okay, gotcha.
Um, and I wanted to clarify that it was her holographic skirt that she was wearing during this whole thing, because I don't think I said the word holographic, even though it was in my head.
Yeah, yeah, I know that feeling.
Right. Anyway, so
I like
she's.
the suspense button.
Oh, what does this do?
Um, yeah, it says, "How do your nerves handle the pressure?"
Okay.
I
I'll
feel
answer this
like,
first since I haven't gone in a second,
yeah,
and I think Kaylee really thought this was June's dog, and that the association was deja vuing some weird different thing. Um, Also, my dog has been licking me the entire time that we've been talking about dogs.
Good dog.
Um,
Good dog.
um, I sense that he's about to bark um, in my periphery, even though I'm looking directly at the camera. Kaylee's trying to, like, Kaylee's still with the dog, trying to pet the dog, but it's not really petting. It's more like a checking for fleas or ticks kind of petting. Um, where it's like trying to see if like the fur blurs or pixelates, or if
Mm.
she just gets a bad feeling. Um, and she asks the dog if it will leave the cable behind, and it won't. Like Kaylee tries to tug at it, and it barks. And Kaylee leaves the cable alone. Um, Follows the wire over to June to see what June's found.
You're muted, Golden.
I checked and I wasn't muted, but then I was muted again. It was so crazy.
The mute play.
So yeah, um, so I feel like when you're petting the dog, you can feel that the dog's hairs are raised, like something is freaking out the dog too.
And
Weird.
I feel like the music has changed to like uh be ominous of whatever is on the other side of this cable, and June like walks towards it, and as she gets closer to the end, she gets slower, like it goes like behind some curtains or something, and she just is kind of holding there for a moment, and is standing there before going through the curtain when Kaylee comes up, and she seems to be having some second thoughts as to if she wants to actually follow this cable. There's something about the cable itself that's kind of bothering her. Like Kaylee had this feeling about the dog, and June is having it about the cable, and maybe that's related, or maybe it's just paranoia, because that's something that June has.
Yep. I'm actually going to cut here because one of my triggers for my cuts is when the description becomes blurry and vague. I answer, when does the camera, or not when, but what does the camera focus in on before we cut to the next shot? And I think that the camera like keeps like, it's almost like there's a cameraman or a camera person, I should say, holding it, and they keep trying to direct the camera toward the room, but then almost like magnetic poles, the camera like gets repelled away and can't look at it, so then it ends up looking back at the cable, and it keeps getting attracted to the cable and looking at the dog and looking at the stars, but it can't seem to like ever quite look toward the room without like going completely all the other way around. And that's
creepy and weird. I love it.
Yeah, I think as it swoops the entire other way around, that's like a slash cut to the next shot.
I'm gonna say you retroactively answered a question. And the question is, how many lives has June ruined? Because the reason the camera can't look into the room is because the O's don't want you to see what's happening in there, so everyone just dies. And the room is just filled up with concrete. So I'm going to draw a line. Is there any rule about this line?
Wow.
The line.
Don't do anything outside the bounds of the aspect ratio box. Don't do anything inside closed somethings. Shapes.
Don't do anything inside closed shapes.
Closed shapes are the ones that are green now. Yeah?
Okay.
Oh, is it? I thought it was any shape that was enclosed, like inside a circle or whatever.
Yeah, that's correct.
Which is correct?
What Estini said.
Oh, okay. That was my mistake then. Okay.
There's not a lot of space. Go up toward. You can't do anything towards Galaxy Peak.
I have to go down to the bottom right. That little tiny space is the only place I can draw into.
You can.
I mean, you can do a lot of stuff up here. Because
But I have to start from the circle, right? So.
This box doesn't count. Do you?
Don't I have to start in this circle?
You don't have to start from the circle.
I can just draw it anywhere?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, that makes things more interesting.
Yeah. Because now you have all of the upper part of the aspect ratio to play with pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep. And if the line crosses one of their dots, then you could have jumped into our scene as a client or a judge.
Oh, okay.
Only if they're alone
there's no
in the
reason
shot.
to do that.
Yeah, which you couldn't have done because we're together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's just no point to do that right now.
Yeah.
But I can use this to close off some space up here. So let's do that. And now, if I move this slightly, this whole area is closed.
Oh shit, yeah it is.
That's a huge closed area. Wow. Okay.
It's like the longest unreeling ever area.
Oh my. I vote no.
I mean, or we just get rid of all of it. We just polygon it all and just say like, nope.
That's like the area you go into if you want to stay up to like 4 a.m.
Nope.
Okay.
That's for all of those jobless 16-year-olds that want to play Consumed.
Yes.
Not us.
Okay, but now we cut to Snee's action shot.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ferdinand.
the action shot.
Okay, so I feel like this is happening at the same time as Kaylee and June are investigating the front of the building, basically. So we have we've described it as like a nightclub with a stage, and there's a curtain drawn, and we cut to behind the curtain, and we see flashes of fabric and color and lights as Ferdinand is setting up for a fashion show that he's holding here later tonight. And we see him like cutting different like he's cutting string loose threads off of designs, and he's saying, no, the LED lights need to go inside the garment, you can't just pull them out, they're part of the design. And he's like shaking his fist and chasing after people, and he's trying to like get all of his helpers to get people into their clothes, and there's just chaos and pandemonium, a lot of half-dressed people, like a lot of half-naked people back there, as he's just trying to get everyone into all of these fashions. And I feel like he's been very inspired by being up in Galaxy Peaks. And so there's not just a lot of his original billboard trend that he started, but also I feel like he's merging that with LED lights and everything, and also holographic. So it's like maybe someone will be wearing like a billboard suit with LED lights in where like the lettering is, and then like maybe like with holographic pants or something like that. He's like blending all these together to like make a new collection. So we just see him basically um, running around and like cutting things and refitting things, and yeah.
Okay, yeah. The upbeat intro. So I think while you're working, there's some like inspirational music going on in the background, and I think you're like in the same space as the technicians that are gonna die soon. So how do you move and pose to my upbeat music?
Um, I think we see Ferdinand like tapping his foot a lot and like nodding his head like as he's sewing, and like maybe his stitches are going to like the rhythm of the music. So like he's fixing a hem and he's just kind of humming along. Like maybe the music is kind of like seeping into him and kind of causing him to chill out a little bit. And so he's just kind of like nodding and stitching to the rhythm of the music, I think.
Okay. Um, Trying to see if you answered the question.
I have a cut that I'm doing when they breathe life into their styles. Answer: what hides in the blur of both this shot and the next? And I feel like Golden and I have had a hive mind where I'm thinking like the technicians are actually making the music right here. They're just in the background, in the blur. We can't see them. They're faceless extras. Yeah.
Mm.
I did answer the question you asked me, if that counts as answering a question, by the way.
It does.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I will make that to be your color.
I tried really hard.
And
Thank you.
um, with an atom cut, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I wanted to know how Ferdinand escaped certain death, but we'll never find out now.
I also
Right.
wanted to, but it's fine.
I will put your dot.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that Ferdinand mysteriously escaped certain death, so.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do anything inside closed shapes, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, I can't put
And
it in
there's like
circles.
huge closed shape
Nope.
now.
I made a line, but I don't want to make a line.
Oh no.
Okay, I
Puppy.
undid it. So we'll put it. We'll put you in the corner.
Where he puts Ferdinand in the corner.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's what it is in the cage, honestly.
It's down here now.
Down where? Can you ping for me?
I'm trying, but apparently I
Oh,
can't
it's
ping or select
here.
anything.
I get it. I see it.
There we go.
I see it too.
I'm gonna change this color now.
Okay, doke.
There we go.
Cool.
And I guess I should start a new scene, huh?
Yep. Scene transition.
Okay. Where's that at? Uh-oh, I accidentally left the game.
Oh no. When you
Uh-oh.
get back, it'll be on the neighborhood sheet up by the top.
Top right, basically.
Okay. Scene transition.
There we go.
Okay. You gotta scroll all the way to the bottom. Who changed location or time? Make them play the neighborhood next.
That was Lavender, right?
Did
I mean-
Lavender really change his location or time?
Well,
Yeah,
he
I
did do
guess
the
so.
scene. They did do the scene cut, so
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be happy with playing the neighborhood again. Playing the neighborhood's fun. I like playing the
Okay.
neighborhood.
I was going to say Stany did because she went back in time and
Your
to a different
choice.
part of the stage.
you know I'm also fine to be the neighborhood. So it's really up to you.
I don't think I've seen you play the neighborhood yet, so I choose you.
I did last time, but I'm
Yes.
happy to do it again.
Oh, you did?
Mhm.
I have no memory of anything.
It's okay. It was my first time playing the neighborhood, and I'm happy to do it again.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. So then go to the map layer and trace in the close shape.
You just
Go with a
inc-
non-player
you
color.
could just fill the big shape that you just made all in green, just like F everybody.
The problem is that filling that shape is a lot of work. And I'm pretty lazy.
That's a pretty good point.
Hmm.
Okay, then I might
You need
do
to
that
make
on
that-
my thing.
He's gonna spend an hour filling that shape.
It won't take that long.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
online tool will be fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Black Bluff.
I'm playing the neighborhood.
Oh, that's right. Yep. I got so ready to play that I just forgot everything.
Also, Black Bluff isn't in the aspect ratio. How can you pick that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm gonna be Giant Sleep.
Cool.
Let me change my name.
Now I know that next time we do my phase, I need to move it around so that we can go to different neighborhoods.
Okay. So, even though my thing says you were the last to calibrate, I still click it for my intro. Is that
Yep.
correct? Okay. So I'll do that. So we're gonna figure out where the scene is taking place. Then I'm gonna cast everybody, and then Golden filled in this space.
Yep.
Yeah.
That looks right.
Looks like it is 2 different colors for people who are counting colors.
I need
I mean, it
to-
doesn't
know it's
do
just-
anything,
Dog
right?
is
Oh yeah, it is 2.
staring at me.
Oh, three different colors. Sorry, it's 3 different colors for people counting colors.
Can we make the color of the one that's just being filled in a different color than the rest of them? Like this part here is a different color. If we can change that to the same color and then change the one that
Yeah, I just couldn't find the right color, so I picked the wrong one when I filled
I
it
don't
in.
know what color Adam was using either, so
I trust you all to figure it out.
All right. Well, all right. So this scene is going to take place out on the street. Let me think. So this scene's going to take place out on the street. It's nighttime. there is a challenge. You all been woken up in the middle of the night. You'd been sleeping for maybe 3 hours, and then like basically fire alarms inside your buildings woke you up, and you got like dragged out, bags put over your head, you got thrown into the back of vans, and now you're all standing in your pajamas out in the middle of the street at night.
Perfect.
There's judges there. There's lights in your face, you can't even like see their faces, and they're issuing a challenge to you, and they're basically saying, you have 1 hour. You have to bring as many books as you can and fill up the back of this van. All right, so now I'm gonna cast everybody. Lavender, I would love to see your take on June.
Awesome.
Kelsa, I really want you to be Troy.
Thank you.
And Golden, I would love to see you as Brian.
Okay.
Thank God I get my one to start with, because otherwise I would have nothing.
Lurkers, where are you hiding in the scene? Ask one of the cameras to cut to set the situation. Do I need to do that when I've already decided it?
No, not really.
We should set our cuts to 1 each, or do I just have no cuts?
They should start at 1 each, and then if you have the things, you should add.
So there's 3 different colors.
The things?
There's no frame borders.
There's 3 different colors, you said?
Different colors, yeah. There's red, dark red, and your light pale purple thing. And then if anyone's counting sides, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. If anyone needs that.
Yep. I'm
Have
counting
frame
dots and
edges?
frame edges, both of which are 0 for me.
Yep.
Good.
Well, you have
What
at least one of
space are we
each.
in?
Say that again?
What space are we in?
We're counting what got closed off by the thing you polygoned.
Oh, that's
how many
how
many
okay.
sides is that?
It's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides.
Okay. I know you had just said it and I already forgot. Thank you.
I mean, I was pretty sure it was 5, but then I'm
Yes.
like, let me recount and check.
Wait, I don't need to know what sides there are. I need to know.
Yeah, you need frame edges, which
I need frame edges,
0.
which are none. Okay. But I also need different colors, which
Yeah.
was 3, so that brings it up to 4. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay, so I have 0 of both as well.
So you get 1 each.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. You probably won't use more than that anyway.
That's true. Like, we get a lot of them, but we don't really use them. But I guess we could.
Yep. That's funky.
Okay. So everyone make sure you are looking for what you want to do in this scene. When you're... is everyone ready to click an action or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I playing?
You're June.
That's right.
I've already updated the overlay.
I'm just that behind
Nice.
right
And Golden is Brian.
Oh, I
And
drew the
Kelsa
updated
is-
overlay, but I didn't actually update it.
now. Haha, thank you,
And Kelsa is Troy.
merciful Kelsa.
All right. Here we go. There we go. Now it's
Oh, I gotta change my name in the Roll20 as well.
And once you've done that, I'm gonna start counting, so you better have your shot in mind.
I'm ready.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Looks like we have
Always
an
in
action shot
first.
with Troy and June. Perfect.
Nice.
Oh my god.
I love it. Do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Would you like to start with some narration here, because I kind of took over last time?
Yep, and then we can bounce back and forth and have conversations and stuff. Okay.
Cool.
All right. June is calling up people on the phone and sees Troy hustling off
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else to gather more books,
Mm-hmm.
and she's kind of side-eyeing him as he's like working real hard using his Survivor and Amazing Race experience. He just goes like fast all the time, I imagine.
Yeah,
June's
totally.
just like sitting behind, like barely moving on screen, doing the pose from the photo shoot that maybe lost to time, don't remember. um and uh finally someone picks up on the other end, and then June goes, yeah, I want to talk to the library, and I want to I just need to, Jesus, it's how can you like do a reality show? How can you film anything this time of day? Sorry. Basically, we're borrowing a bunch of books. Um, I'm gonna pass them off. I'm gonna peel all the labels off, and then sorry, I'm gonna text this, and then hangs up before the person on the other line doesn't even get to say anything.
Right.
June rambles the entire time, and then hangs up and starts texting.
Amazing. Troy has been like hustling in the background, and he is gonna steal so many books, you biatch. And like he's going and like swiping books off of counters in like coffee shops that people were in the middle of reading, and they set it down for just a second to sip their coffee, and now it's gone. You know, um, he's got a backpack that he's just like slamming books into. Like you see him like kind of like half run, half dance down the street as he like pulls books out of the hands of children as they're like school textbooks and stuff as they're going to school or coming home or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like an absolutely like ridiculous, uh, definitely showing off, kind of a thing where it's more like a cartoon parody than it is a reality, but you know he's doing it.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
I see a button.
Yes, this sounds pretty suspenseful as we wonder who is going to get the most books at the same time. And June has never left the van. She's still standing there texting, arranging things. We see Troy making trips back to dump books into the back of the van and run off again. And one time when you come back, Troy, the judges stop you and
Yo,
they
what's up?
say, there's a twist to this challenge.
Yeah, I'm
They
listening.
can't be just any books. They have to be children's books. Go. How do your nerves handle the pressure?
Like we get a momentary flashback to him stealing the children's textbooks just a second ago, and like he like leaps up in the air and like darts away and like does a heel click because he's like, fuck yes, I've already got this. I didn't even mean to, but I got this lock. And he is like really hype, and he's like, I know where there's 2 schools nearby. Just gonna fuck up these kids.
So messed up.
Oh, perfect. But same
Wow.
question to June. How do your nerves handle the pressure? You've just ordered all these books from the library.
Mm. I'm really worried on the inside that Troy is hustling for a good reason and not just wasting time. Like I'm very afraid that he has a plan and he's executing that plan very quickly.
Hmm.
Let's take a look at questions.
I gotta move that.
So June knows that there's certain books that sometimes people pick up when they do these challenges, where they pick up the books, they're like, cool, I have books to fill this repository or whatever, and they're cursed books from the lurkers that catalog your thoughts and your embarrassing moments, or their grimoires, or whatever the fuck else. So June's also more than the competition, worried that the books that we found that were bad aren't as bad as it gets. Like, there's going to be a book that's so much worse than just a book of embarrassing moments. That's what I got.
Okay.
So either I can cut myself or somebody else can cut for me, or
I'll go ahead and cut. When there's dead air for too long, answer, how does time buffer, distort, or jump to the next shot? So I think this is gonna, I mean, we're jumping to a double exposure again from this, which I think is kind of funny. Um, so yeah, I think we get like a time lapse slash like time like overlay where like it's just this cut. It's just like the van and June sitting there almost still, and then Troy running back to the van and dropping stuff off, running back to the van and dropping stuff off. But like it has like multiple instances of him doing that overlapping each other and like kind of faded out
mm-hmm.
as like the sun sets in the background and stuff. And I think that's what is the cut over to Golden in the double exposure.
All right, cool. So we see Brian like this high tech printing press where all the rollers are made of glass, and I'm not muted, and um, the papers, the books are like floating through the air on invisible conveyor belts, and like we see the papers like going into this glass machine and being fused together at the spine. And Brian is walking through it, and we see like it's like parts of his body are cut out, like irregular sharp shapes out of his arms and chest. And when he walks in front of the magnetic rollers, it's like his body gets warped, like he's standing behind a black hole or walking into a black hole, and he's constantly moving and shifting. Um, as he does so, he's got these goggles on, kind of like Dr. Robotnik's goggles in the new Sonic movie, where they're actually glowing this neon blue. And he's got a wrench, and he's going around, and he's like changing the tension on different machines so that the pictures come off just tilted a little bit and warped in a disturbing way. And we see this artificial intelligence face appear on a monitor, and it's like, error, error, these books are imperfect, they must be destroyed, I must contact the mosque immediately. And Brian runs outside where his cell phone rings. He takes off the goggles and gives him a call. Says, Brian, we have Imperfect books. They must be destroyed. Is the incinerator ready? Brian's like, yes, they're ready. And so he
I'm going to interrupt here.
yeah.
So the words imperfect are repeated over and over in the bass tones of the call. Like it's so low you can't hear it, but it is felt viscerally. That is the subliminal radio frequency. What does it compel you to do? As this message of imperfection seeds into your body.
I feel like Brian is fiddling with his phone unconsciously as he waits for like this dump truck to arrive. And what he's doing is like randomly like parsing through his Google Docs drive and just like randomly changing words with the auto suggest when he's not paying attention in all of his like diary and his secret fan fiction that he writes. So he's ruining all his hard work because he can't stop fidgeting. It's adding imperfections to everything. He doesn't even notice this.
Perfect.
So yeah, eventually the dump truck arrives and loads up on the imperfect books, and instead of going to the incinerator, they go to the book drop-off point for the contest, and it just rains books from the sky. That's like a dump. And I am going to say I breathed life into my electric blue incinerator style. And what hides in the blur is
actually, I should take this shot if you want to do it. Because you're still on the lens. You should be on the resolution one, but I can do this one for you because I have one if you want to do it.
How do I? I'm on the lens.
You're on the lens. You are the resolution and not the lens. So you would have different.
Whenever you take over a character sheet, you're supposed to change the little drop down from whatever it was to whatever your meta role is.
Why am I the resolution?
That's the name of your meta role.
Yeah. It's when you do the recap phase. That's because you're the resolution.
Oh, okay. I don't know how this. I was wondering why.
We're all learning.
Why dots and sides. Okay.
Yep. But did you want to do that cut? Because I could do it for you.
I had an idea.
Okay. Cool.
I managed to stall long enough to come up with an idea.
Yep. You breathe life into your blue incinerator, and then I have to answer what hides in both the blur of this shot and the next.
You're gonna answer it.
Oh. As you divert the books away from the incinerator to the contest, you see that the camera moves to look at the light of the incinerator, and on the other side are blurry moving dots in like circles that look almost like eyes in the light, but it's so blurry that you can hardly tell. And the reason that this is that this like fades between this scene and the next is because after this the show is over, and then after that the screen goes black, and then the eyes are just staring at their own reflection in the darkness of the screen.
I have to say
Ooh,
something very
cool.
important before we conclude this episode.
Yes.
It is now currently raining books.
that is very important. That is very important.
As the neighborhood, I decree it is now raining books.
Yes.
Nice.
We see like as this transition is happening, we're like panning away from the dumping of the books, and they're just raining books everywhere.
Awesome.
So fucking good.
Awesome.
You've glitched out giant sleep.
So I don't get to polygon in a shape then because I didn't get to do my thing. That's fine.
I suppose not.
That's fine. I will polygon in that big old shape next time.
Good. All right. Now we do outros, yeah?
Yep.
I know how this works. I'm the channel. Lavender, this is your game. Why don't you talk about it and where people can find you on the internet?
If you would like to support this game, you can go to patreon.com/darklavendervoid, and that is how you support me making this game until I like actually release it for people who don't want to pay every month for a dog to bark at them and ruin their stream of thought, their train of thought. Their consciousness is disapparating into the itch hive mind. Itch is God, especially when the tithe is only 10% by default. I mean, you can pay more, but any church has a tithe.
All right.
That's my shout out.
That was a great shout out that did not go off track at all. Estini, how about you?
Hi, I'm Estini. When I'm not doing weird neighborhood things, you can find me on my own Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Estini, where I play variety games, sometimes trippy games. So, I mean, that's kind of related.
That is related.
Superliminal, by the way. Great game. Very trippy. Highly recommend. But anyway, I also do art stuff. You can find me. I have Patreon for that. So you can find me on Patreon. I have a store. Buy my stuff. Christmas is coming up. Buy it. Hashtag capitalism. Hashtag not sponsored.
Nice.
All right. Golden?
So I'm not really doing Twitch right now. I am basically done with the shareware version of Shattered Hopes and Broken Dreams, which is my Magical Girls Firebrands hack. It's going to release for free with 7 games and 4 haunts, which are Betrayal on the House, on the Hill haunts. I think with no art. Maybe I'll talk with Sustainy and contract some of her art.
You've got some stuff saved up, so we could maybe do something.
Yeah, but yeah, this version is going to be for free, and then what I'm going to do is hope this builds up some momentum, and try and launch a Kickstarter. I have already written, I think 12 games and 6 haunts, but there's eventually going to be 12 games and 12 haunts. And hopefully that'll be done by the end of the year.
Cool.
So that's where all my energy is going right now. And
I'm interested.
Also, yeah. Also, I've been getting a lot of help from this top secret Discord channel that I can't link publicly. Was only for game developers.
Cool.
Yeah, it's called Campfire, and there's a lot of amazing people on it who helped me figure stuff out to make it hopefully less harmful. We were talking about like consentful stuff and safety mechanics, which is good. Seems to be like a really great bunch of people.
Awesome.
So I can't give anybody a link in public, but hopefully this group of people will be producing content.
Nice.
And we'll be like Forge 2.0. That'd be awesome. But instead of the Forge, it's like the fire underneath the Forge. We're like out in the woods now. We're way more indie than the Forge.
Wow, that's funny, but also accurate. Anyway, hello, I'm Kelsa. This is my channel. Thank you for stopping by. You can find me on Twitter at Kelsa, Twitch and YouTube. You found me already. It's Kelsa Delphi, and I play role-playing games on the internet. Besides this strange game, which I do love, I also GM a game over on Party Wipe Games channel called Packet Loss. That's a Scum and Villainy game. My other games are on holiday hiatus, although to be fair, Scum and Villainy is on PAX hiatus since like half the cast, 3 out of 5 members of the cast are going to be at PAX Unplugged on Thursday, or getting ready to be. I'm going to be in Philadelphia is what I'm trying to say. If you see this before PAX Unplugged 2019, and then you're going, say hi. Anyway, that's me. That's everybody. And I'm going to transition us over to the outro screen.